For this pop art tutorial, we are going to begin by cropping the image. So make sure you go to your crop tool and constrain it 4 by 5. You can do it the other way if you want. And then you're going to just focus on the person's face. So it's supposed to be just a headshot. You can include a little bit of the background. Okay, once you're set, just click enter. If you want to include a little bit more of the shoulder, you can as well. Okay, you can zoom in to see more detail, and you can zoom in by clicking comment and plus sign. Alright, next you're going to double click on the background and you will see there's a lock here, so we're going to get rid of the lock because we can't control this lock, and then we're going to click on the lock again, and you'll notice that you can unlock it anytime. We are locking this so that we don't accidentally add color here or erase part of the image. Next, you're going to make a duplicate of this background layer. So you can go right click, duplicate layer, and rename it as threshold. And you'll notice that this one is locked, so just unlock it. Now, there are two different ways to threshold this layer. I'll show you the first way, and this is by going to image, adjustments, and threshold. And you will notice that when I move the slider, if I want more details on the eye, I lose detail in the hair, and if I want more details in the hair, I lose details in the eye, like so. So some of you, this technique may work, for some of you it may not. So the second option is by using selection tool. So we have the lasso tool. We also have the quick selection tool that you can use to select just the small areas that you want to edit. So for instance, if I want to just select the eyes, I can just simply hold my trackpad and use my fingers to draw around the eye using the lasso tool, and then simply go to image, adjustments, threshold, and then move the slider around. If you want to incorporate the eyebrows, then you will have to select them separately, so I'll show you what that looks like. So to deselect, click Command D. So you can zoom in to get a better detail. So let me start with the eyebrows. So I will select the eyebrows, and you don't have to be exactly on the eyebrow itself. You can just go around it. Okay, same thing. Image adjustments, threshold. And if I want my eyebrows thick or thin, I can move it around. Okay, deselect. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. So if you select the threshold again, it will not get affected. So don't worry about that. See how the first threshold is not being affected right now? So if you need to zoom out just to see better, do so. Okay, there you go. Deselect. Okay, so we'll do this until you are satisfied with what you got. I think I'm happy with that. So try to keep these grains. The grains are good. It gives you a little bit more texture. If you missed a spot here, don't worry about it. You can always just go back, select the area, and threshold it. And I really don't want that line there, so just get rid of it. There we go. So continue this all throughout. So we want to show some of the hairline. And show the details of the nose. So you notice if I do this, the shadows don't make sense. There's white here and then black here, and this does not look pretty. So you want to make sure the lights and the shadows make sense. So you'll notice that there's a white space there. So obviously I wouldn't want this dark black shadow. So I'm just going to get rid of all the shadow and keep my shadow to minimum. So like I said, grains are good. You want to keep a little bit of the grain. It shows a bit more texture. So you can do one little bit at a time, or you can do it separately. So you'll notice it's a little blotchy there. Get rid of that. Okay, next. Oops. Okay, we want to work on the hair next. Okay, we want to keep the background white, so I'm actually going to redo this. Okay, don't worry if the hair is not perfect. And do the same thing for clothes, the hands. I'm just going to select the whole thing because I want the focus to be on the face. If you do make a mistake and if you want a bit of this area to come in and out, you can actually push it in and out using this quick selection tool. Use the plus and a minus tool. So you notice that you can go in, not too much. Just change the size. Oops, I want to add. Okay, there we go. Alright, the very last thing you're going to do is select the background. So for the background, draw around your object as close to it as possible. And then you're going to go around it, the border. Okay, and you're going to let go. If you need to fix any of these, like I said, use the quick selection tool. Okay, add or subtract. That's a little too much. go. Okay, as close as you can. All right, next you're going to threshold it so that it's all completely white. So not this, all the way white. I see a little bit of the photo here, don't worry about it, we can always touch that up. Okay, press OK. And while you are here, you're going to actually fill in the background first because it is easier to do this as we already have the selection of the background. In order to set the color layer, you need to click on this new layer right here. Okay, right here, click on it, and then you're going to get a layer 1. Rename it as colorize. Save this, or not save this, change the blending mode to multiply. And then you're going to change the background and fill it in with the paint bucket tool. So this is the paint bucket tool. It's sometimes hidden under the gradient tool. Choose the color that you want. So I'm going to choose blue, and then just fill it in. There you go. Okay, so the background is already done for us. So again, let's go back to the threshold layer because I have this photo showing. Go back to the threshold and just throw in image adjustment and threshold one more time. And when you do it, you'll notice that these photos, they all disappear. Great. All right, so now I'm gonna lock up the threshold layer because I don't need it anymore and I don't want to accidentally colorize it. On the colorize layer, you're going to start colorizing using different colors for the eyes, the lips, the hair, and the face. There are a couple of ways to do this. The first thing you can do or use is the brush tool. It is very important that you have your brush set to 100% hardness, and you can change the size depending on the area that you're colorizing. So for instance, if I'm colorizing my eye, I will want my eye to be a little bit, my brush for the eye to be a little bit smaller. Change the color to whatever you want, like so. Like so. And then if you want to add some eyeshadow, you can. And you will notice that the color does not go over the black threshold. So you can do it again, same thing on the other side. Okay, that's one way to do it. Another technique that you can use is lasso tool. We used it already. So if you feel confident in your drawing with your trackpad, go ahead and you can select the area. You can colorize it. So clearly it's not really good for large areas, but you can do it. Like so. And let's say I want to change my color to, let's go with yellow. You can fill it in with the paint bucket tool. All right. And you'll notice that because the background color was there, this color did not overlap it right here. But if I were to go in with my brush, it would cover it, as you can see. So it depends on your preference. With the hair, it's not too important that you exactly outline it the way it was. It's a little bit more forgiving. Deselect. So areas like this, okay, small areas where you can still see white, you can fill it in with either the background color or the whatever the object was. So for the background color, to get the blue back, the exact blue, use the eyedropper tool. Okay, click on the background color you want, and you notice how the color showed up here. So now I'm taking my brush tool and simply covering this up. All right. Okay, now I'm going to choose the lip color. I'm going to draw this. You can use a brush if you want. And again, I'm just going to fill it. And if you feel like this part is a little too big or too small, you can always erase it using the eraser tool. So again, remember that your eraser tool also has to have 100% hardness. Okay, so next you're going to color the skin. So you can use your brush tool. So you notice that the color again does not go over the black, so don't worry about it. The only thing that I will worry about is going over the pre-existing color. If you're really not sure what that is or what the image was supposed to be, just unclick on the threshold so you can see a bit better. So I can see that's supposed to be the blue background. So I will fill it in later. Okay, there we go. So if I want to go back and fix the eyeshadow color, you can. Oops. Okay, so this is my first composition, and you should get into a habit of saving your work from time to time. So I'm going to save this as a PSD because I'm still working on it. So just call it your last name, pop art. Okay, 1 if you want. Okay, Now you're going to make a second copy of this. And the second copy or the composition is going to have a different color because you have, remember, for the pop art composition you need to have different color schemes. So this is my color scheme 1, my first composition, and I'm going to create my second one. Before you do move on, like, if you want to change anything, you should do that now. I think I'm going to change the color of my lip or the lips. Just check your original image just to make sure. I think it's pretty close. Oops. I would use the skin color for that instead. Alright, so I think this is close enough. I'm just going to save this again one more time. Now I'm going to change the color scheme, so listen up carefully. To change the color, go to Image, Adjustments, Replace Color. So this will save you a lot of grief later, so you don't have to redo everything. Right now it's set to the skin color, and you see everything in white, like the face and the hand. That's the color that will be affected. So I want to start with my background first. So that's the blue. So you see the blue background is selected here in white. So this is my original color, and I want to change the color result here. So I want my background to be purple. There we go. Now you can see before and after. Okay. Okay, now you're gonna go through the same thing again. So for each time, So for each time, just do this again. Go to Image, Adjustments, Replace Color. My next color I want to change is the yellow. You can see the yellow hair is selected. So remember, when you're choosing your selection of the color, you're not choosing color from this color picker. You're choosing it from your work. So right now the hair is selected, but I can always select the face, the eyes, or just the lips. So I'm going to stick with my hair first, and then change my hair color to, let's say, green. So you never want to choose the same color as the colors that's already on there, or else it's going to affect everything. Alright, next, adjustment, threshold. Oh, I keep doing this. Image, adjustment, replace color. Alright, so next color I want to change is our eyeshadow. Okay, and then I want to change the eyeshadow to maybe something more pink. There we go. Alright, next I want to change our eye color. And I think I'm going to change it to blue. And then our lip color. And then lastly, the sweater. So you'll notice that this one looks really desaturated, and sometimes that does happen. Just do it again. I'm not sure why that does happen, but it does sometimes. So if you think the orange is not orange enough, just do it again. So select the orange and change it from here. There we go, that's better. Right, and I'm gonna save this as pop art 2. So you're going to make maybe 3, 4, 5 different versions of the different color schemes. And then once you're happy with your work, you're going to save it as, so this is at the end, you're going to save all your work as JPEG. Save it as medium and open up my first composition. Save it as JPEG and then medium, good. And then you're going to create a new blank document. This is fine. I'm going to change this to US paper, okay, and place my JPEGs. There we go. So I want it a little smaller. And then place my second one. So make sure it's the same size as your first one. Just line them up side by side. Make sure you're holding down the shift button so that it's consistent. The proportion is constrained. If you need to go back, just go to the selection tool, right click, and free transform. To move your object or your image, click on the move tool, and there you go. Just line them up as close as you can so there is no white space. And then you're going to repeat this layer again if you want, or you can add different color scheme. But essentially what you want to do is create this composition where the images are placed into this grid formation. Alright, so this is your final product. So in the end, you're going to have an Andy Warhol inspired work. And that's it.